its golden age, the Muslim world was the premier civilization on earth, largely because of its commitment to the rule of law. During the past century, the United States has been the premier civilization, largely for the same reason. The Muslim world must return to the rule of law if it wishes to escape the backwardness in which it has wallowed in recent centuries. The U.S. must not abandon its commitment to the rule of law if it wishes to retain its leadership among the nations of the earth. The biggest favor the U.S. can do for Egypt now is to demonstrate its commitment to the rule of law by obeying its own law. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Next up, we will hear from Imam Mahdi Bray. Imam Mahdi Bray is representing, he is the director of American Muslim Alliance.
Thank you, and good morning. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, I'm sad to see what's happening, and I'm sad even more so that my government has responsibility of not saying anything about what is happening in Egypt. You know, we're closely approaching the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington, which was led by the great civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King said, in terms of dealing with global justice, he reminded this nation that there is a time when silence is betrayal, and that silence actually is a part of being complicit with the problem. And this is the problem that we have here in our government. The silence of this administration towards what has happened in Egypt is shameful. No ifs and ands about it. It's shameful. Oh yes, there are the rhetorical questions. The callous will ask, is it safe? Vanity will ask, is it politically popular? But our conscience will ask, is it right? And what has happened in Egypt? The usurpation of democracy by a military coup, and that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Nothing more than a military coup. We have always said, if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck, or at best a goose. So, basically this is a military coup, and Dr. Imad is absolutely right. The reason that they're trying to move around that because they don't want to call it a coup, because they know by U.S. law that they can't give the money to some thugs in sunglasses, you know, who want to run roughshod over the democratic principles that the people of Egypt are really working for and striving for. Let me just kind of conclude by just saying that we at the American Muslim Alliance, we have a campaign consisting of former members of Congress, faith-based partners of all the different faith traditions, Christians, Muslims, Jews, and we're saying not one penny, not one dime of our U.S. tax dollar should be used to support a military coup in Egypt. Not one penny. And we're determined to do this, and we're going to continue. We call it No Cash for Coup. This is our campaign of No Cash for Coup. We've already visited John McCain, Lindsey Graham, and others, and we will continue to advocate and say that there's so much better things that we need to do with our American tax dollars. We get senior citizens who can't get meal on wheel. We got children who are being denied nutritional supplemented food stamps and things that they need. We've got the elderly, the poor, the disabled, all of the different problems that we face as a nation, that we're going to really do this. We're going to give money to a military coup. It's shameful. It's shameful. So we just came to offer words of solidarity. We stand with the people of Egypt. Because one of the things that Dr. King also reminds us that the struggle for justice, indeed, it is a global struggle. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And that's what's happening. We're dealing with injustice. So I would just say that, again, we will continue to lobby strongly to make sure that no money goes, no tax dollars or U.S. tax dollars are taken and used on behalf of supporting and propping up a illegitimate military regime that is usurping the right of democracy. It goes against the values, it goes to the values of what Thomas Jefferson talked about in terms of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It goes against the value, even with one of the founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, because they claimed that the coup is going to bring about some type of security. But Benjamin Franklin got it right. He who is willing to sacrifice security for liberty will have neither. Will have neither. Will have neither. So once again, we will be coming out for our national coalition march and rally on Saturday, August the 10th. We will be there marching as Americans, Egyptians, different faith traditions, and all kinds of different groups. We'll all be marching together on August 10th in solidarity. And we say again that what's happening in Egypt is not right, but we're going to continue to keep going because we know one thing else that we learned, and that is this, is that the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice. So we will be going and marching for justice and democracy in Egypt on August 10th, and we hope to see you there. Thank you.
Next up, we have Dr. Ossama Jammal, and he is here from Mass PACE. He's the director of Mass's Muslim American Society. He'll be speaking to us on the policy issues that Mass has been trying to address since the coup as it relates to military aid and other such important issues.
Good morning. Again, my name is Ossama Jammal. I'm the chairman of the Muslim American Society Public Affairs and Civic Engagement. Mass PACE is deeply concerned over the turn of events in Egypt, which shattered the democratic aspiration and future of the Egyptian people and led to the loss of innocent human lives. We are equally concerned over our administration's vacillating position on the Egyptian military coup. It does not create any doubt or misinterpretation that a military takeover of a civilian government, suspending the Constitution, putting a democratically elected president on house arrest, detaining political leaders, and shutting down media outlets constitute a military coup of the first degree. Regardless if political parties supported it or conspired with it, and irrespective of claimed number of supporters went into the streets. Since the change did not take place at the ballot boxes where official count can be documented in a fair and free voting, nothing can legitimize the military intervention and undemocratic change. We applaud Senator McCain and Senator Graham for making a reality check on the situation in Egypt and describing it of what it is. It's a duck. It's absolutely a full-fledged military coup. As Americans, we stand for the unequivocal values and definition of democracy and the democratic process of change. And as taxpayers, we demand that the U.S. law is not twisted and the $1.3 billion in military aid to Egypt is suspended until democracy is restored.